Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
It's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically? No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% all the time.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in. I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball. It's all about winning championships and winning.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
You know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different.
NBA legends have finally decided to speak up, and they aren't sugarcoating anything. Icons like Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and several of Michael Jordan's former teammates are calling out Kevin Durant and LeBron James. For years, these veterans stayed quiet while the league changed around them. They watched players focus more on showmanship, social media, and personal brands instead of pure basketball. Out of respect, they kept their opinions to themselves, but not anymore.
If you're going to make $50, $60 million a year and just say, hey, you know what? I'm only going to play 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. At some point, the fan going to be saying, wait a minute, you're charging me this much for...
LeBron James and Kevin Durant finally crossed a line, and there's no walking it back. They went on a podcast, laughed at Michael Jordan's legacy, and made fun of the man many consider the standard of greatness. That's when the older generation of NBA legends said, enough. This wasn't just playful criticism anymore. It was disrespect. And the legends weren't going to stay quiet while today's stars tried to tear down Jordan to lift themselves up. Stacey King, who won 3 championships with Jordan, didn't hold back at all. When he heard LeBron and Durant joking about Jordan's baseball break, he went off. He even nicknamed LeBron's show the Cry Me a River podcast, calling them out for constantly chasing approval. King's message was sharp and direct. Great players don't need to tell the world they're great. That line landed hard because everyone knew exactly who he meant. Jordan never needed a podcast or debates to defend himself. His play, his titles, and his legacy spoke for him. Meanwhile, LeBron and Durant keep talking about themselves instead of letting their game do the talking. And King didn't stop there. He said both of them spend more time complaining about fan opinions than focusing on performance. Then he exposed the biggest contradiction, LeBron and Durant bragging about dedication and longevity. Durant has been in the league nearly 20 years and has played every game in a season only 3 times. LeBron has done it once in 2 decades. Yet they sit on shows acting like they set the standard for commitment. How can you preach about longevity when you regularly sit out games for minor reasons? When it comes to leadership, King pointed straight to Durant's record. Durant left Golden State to prove he could win on his own. Brooklyn was supposed to redeem him. It fell apart. Phoenix was supposed to be the answer, another collapse, and another trade request. King put it plainly, Durant still hasn't shown he can win without Steph Curry. After all those seasons and all that talent, there's nothing to show for it when he's the one leading the team.
LeBron and KD and Steve Nash did their little podcast thing, and they always drag the legacy.
What is it called? Is it called? Was it Cry Me a River?
Cry Me a River. I think
Cry Me a River podcast. Oh my God! I tell you what, man. Listen, I was watching
revisionist history. They should call it.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? Great players don't have to tell people they're great.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's true. You let fans do that. You let people debate it on talk radio and podcasts. And, you know, players don't have to do that. You know, we all know you're great. You don't have to tell us. You know, when you have to go around trumpeting that you're great and what separates you from all the other people that makes you greater than them, that's a problem. You know, that's a problem. That's why I say it's a Cry Me a River podcast, because you're crying and moaning about what they said. And they were kind of sneak dissing MJ. If you really listen between the lines, you know, they were talking about Kevin Durant was talking about how longevity is more important than rings and all that other stuff. Being in the league basically for 20 plus years shows the dedication and the hard work that you had to do to stay here. But he failed to mention, the load management and, this guy only playing in no more than 3 times in his career, 82 games in a season.
Yeah, right.
LeBron's only played 1 time 82 games in a season. MJ 9 times in his career played 82 games plus the playoffs and championships that goes into 115 games. So to listen to these guys discredit the former players and how great they were to basically step on top of them to get themselves higher is really.
But sure, let's all laugh at Michael Jordan, the man who helped build the NBA into what it is today. Even Magic Johnson, who almost never criticizes anyone, couldn't stay quiet after this. Magic is usually the peacekeeper. He always tries to highlight the good in the newer generation. But this time, he finally snapped. What Durant and LeBron said on that podcast confirmed everything he's been warning about for years. The NBA has lost its edge. Magic explained it clearly. Back when the Lakers and Celtics battled, it was a real rivalry. When he faced Larry Bird, it wasn't just for TV. They truly hated each other during the season, and that intensity pushed both of them to be great. Fans could feel that energy every time they played. Magic said, "I hated Larry and every Celtic. Now I love him because he's out of that green and white." That raw competitiveness made people drop everything to watch. But today, players hug before games, plan vacations together, and team up for social media posts. There's no real rivalry left. And when LeBron and KD sit around laughing at Jordan's legacy, it only proves Magic's point. Today's stars don't have that killer instinct anymore. They care more about how they look online than about winning on the court. Magic even connected this to declining NBA ratings. He said the reason numbers are falling is simple. Fans can tell when players don't care. People are tired of paying huge ticket prices just to watch their favorite players treat games like they're optional. Then Charles Barkley jumped in, and he didn't hold back at all. Barkley said this isn't just about one podcast episode. It's about an entire generation of players who have lost their hunger. According to him, today's players care more about followers than finals, more about brand deals than championship banners. Then he delivered the harshest truth of all. If a player makes $56 million a year and only plays in 3 out of 4 games, why should fans care when the players don't? He's right. Fans spend big money, make plans, and bring their families to see their heroes, only to hear that their favorite star is resting tonight. That's not leadership. It's entitlement. Barkley didn't stop there. He compared basketball to baseball. MLB players play 162 games. NBA players play 82, half that, and still complain about rest days. His point was straightforward. LeBron and Durant are the face of a softer era, one that confuses simply lasting a long time with actually being great. And that mindset, Barkley said, is slowly hurting the game.
A long career, that's the goal. You in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
Garth Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it. Gets it up ahead.
This rest stuff just drives me crazy. You're playing basketball for a living, okay? I understand if you're working in a coal mine that you may need a rest day after you're playing basketball.
Playing 20 years while switching teams and skipping games isn't greatness. It's branding. Comparing that to Michael Jordan's 13 full seasons of nonstop dominance is disrespectful. And that attitude is exactly why so many fans are tuning out. Then Shaquille O'Neal jumped in, focusing on something he knows better than anyone: toughness. Shaq said today's players are soft. Nobody wants contact, nobody wants to fight in the paint, and everyone just stands around the arc throwing up threes. He explained that if you have a skilled big man in the post, that's the highest percentage shot you can get. But now he sees players avoiding the paint because they don't want physical play. That's the real problem. Players chasing highlights, not championships. They want step backs for social media instead of bruises and effort that actually win games. Shaq summed it up perfectly. Analytics don't matter in the playoffs. When the pressure rises, it's not about numbers, it's about heart. Adrenaline breaks the charts, toughness breaks the trends. That's the difference between real champions and players who just pad stats. Jordan had that fire. He played through pain, took hits every night, and never backed down. Durant and LeBron? Total opposite. Durant is 7 feet tall but plays like a guard who's scared of the post. He stays on the perimeter instead of using his size. LeBron has the body of a tank, but he saves his energy, chooses his moments, and often avoids the toughest defensive assignments. That's not killer instinct. That's self-preservation. Shaq made it clear. That's not championship DNA. Then Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce added fuel to the fire. They tore into the modern training culture. Garnett said today's players think they're in shape until they face someone who actually is. He talked about how, in his era, teams practiced every day at full speed with real contact, hours of 5-on-5 battles. That's how players built the stamina to survive an 82-game season and still have something left for the playoffs. Today, players spend 30 minutes doing half-speed drills with a personal trainer and call it work. Garnett even broke down the small things like calf raises, the kind of basic conditioning that builds explosiveness and prevents injuries. Those fundamentals are disappearing. And then players wonder why they're constantly hurt and asking for load management.
What's happened to the rivalries in today's game? Like, I mean, we
don't hate each other.
That's
they don't like, see, I hated Larry and every Celtic. I really don't like you, but you're my little brother. Now I love you because you out of that green and white. That's what it was, right? The Celtics, Lakers hate each other, disliked each other. So it made for great TV and people tuning in. And now with, I don't know if it's AAU, I don't know what it is. Now everybody's shaking each other's hand. Everybody like each other, won't go at each other like really hard. Even that's what happened to the All-Star game. See?
Yeah.
See, the All-Star
into the All-Star game. Right there.
See, we hated the East.
Right.
I'm coming to bust you.
Right.
Michael, Isaiah, Dr. J. You can't have one over me. See, I'm coming to get that. Now,
see, Magic, this is what I said.
Let them score 200 to 200.
This is what